going into the industry from the X Factor and taking in so much at such a young age, I just recall always having to remind myself that my body is unique, and to love, the skin that I'm in, and to love my curves and to embrace them, to not go on, a journey of wanting to constantly lose weight and stuff like that, because it's always in the press where you sometimes could be made to feel that you need to look a certain way. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't feel good, you can't perform at your best. Hey, I'm Alexandra Burke, and I am a mother to two amazing little humans. And when I'm not sleep deprived, I am a singer, songwriter, and actress. And I'm here with Women's Health, My Body, My Story. As a child, when I was younger, I always had inspiration from my mum when it came to my body and how I felt, and just in general, really. But particularly the fact that my mum was in this industry, she was in the music industry, and she was always put down about her body. So she made it a point to make sure that her daughters never felt the way that she felt growing up. So I always had a real, I would probably say, a little bit of a confidence about my body because I got it from my mum. That saying, get it from your mama. But I always grew up wanting to love my body, love the skin that I'm in, and be proud of who I am, simply because I would see my mum fight so many different obstacles when she was growing up. Well, the stories that she gave me when she was growing up, she'd have to fight so many obstacles to feel at her best and to prove something. So my mum always used to say to me, you never have to prove anything. You are who you are. And I remember one time in particular, I always said to my mum, why do black people have different hair to white people, for example? And she used to say, well, Alex, you know what? If everybody was the same, the world would be boring. You have to be different. Everyone's different. We're all different, shapes and sizes. We're all different colors. But the one thing that unites everybody is the fact that we all have blood running through our veins. We all, unite through music. We all can unite through talking to each other, being kind and passionate to one another. I'll never forget the day that I was sat in my mum's car, and I was in Archway, and I can't remember where we were going, but we were sat, I was in the front seat and listening to music with my mum, as I always did. And I just remember seeing this woman walk past, and she was so beautiful. And I'm the kind of person that always comments on someone's beauty, if they're wearing something gorgeous, if their hair looks amazing, whatever that is, I always give someone a compliment because I think it could make their day. And I remember saying to my mum, that woman over there, she looks unbelievable. She looks just so beautiful. Like, why can't I look like her? And that's when she said to me, well, not everyone's the same. You can't look like her because you're unique and you're special and you are who you are. So, accept the body that you're in, accept the face that you have and what God's created, because, there's never going to be another one like you. So I always learned about being accepting of what the universe and God had given me, always to be grateful, forever to be grateful, and to give thanks every single day for the skin that I'm in. So I was only 19 when I auditioned for the X Factor. I'd auditioned for it 3 years before. At 16, got told no, came back at 19 and won it at 20, which for me, I still have to pinch myself 16 years later, that I actually won one of the biggest shows on the planet. I was really, in a way, well prepared, again, because of my mum. She was in Soul to Soul. She knew the industry. She always used to teach me to take things with a pinch of salt. She warned me that there would be times where there'll be great press, bad press, and the next day it's all chip paper, regardless what it is, positive or negative. So to not take it all in and to just do your own thing. But I think for me, at the tender age of 20, being catapulted so it was just a moment where I don't think any 20-year-old could actually fathom what was going on. And I really am grateful for my mum educating me on the industry, because there were definitely times where I didn't feel confident in my own skin, and that's the message she was trying to drive into me from a young age, because I'd look at everyone else in the industry and go, well, why don't I look like that? And why don't I have legs that look like that? Or why am I not as small as that? Or why do I, all those kind of things. And I'm grateful that the fact that I would always vocal my concerns. If I did have any concerns about myself and my body, I'd talk to my mum or, school friends and stuff, and to be grounded and reminded that actually, you shouldn't be so harsh on yourself when it comes to your body. And I learned very, very quickly to never take criticism in a sense where it was about my body. And any time that there was I'd done a fitting, for example, and clothes didn't fit, I went, well, it's just not for me. It can't be for me because it doesn't fit me. So we'll find something that fits and that feels good. So for me, going into the industry from the X Factor and taking in so much at such a young age, I just recall always having to remind myself that my body is unique, and to love, the skin that I'm in, and to love my curves and to embrace them, to not go on, a journey of wanting to constantly lose weight and stuff like that, because it's always in the press where you sometimes could be made to feel that you need to look a certain way. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't feel good, you can't perform at your best. So I definitely went on a journey where I had to learn very quickly to really understand my body, be grateful for my body, and anything that I ever read in the past, or that, when I was in my 20s, just to take it with a pinch of salt and keep it moving. I recall when Twitter first started, now known as X. And this is how, old I'm about to feel. It was a time when you had to text what you wanted to say to a number, and then somebody would upload it onto the Twitter site. That's how I knew Twitter to be back in the day. Of course, it's changed completely since then. So what I'm trying to say is I'm so grateful for my time on the X Factor and when my career started, that actually social media wasn't a thing. And I'm probably not that great at social media now. You get that kind of pressure sometimes to be on there all the time and stuff like that, but I just can't kind of get with it. I'm really old school. So for me, I love the fact that actually when I won X Factor and had that whole journey, social media just wasn't around. It wasn't there. I just remember when I actually first, when I was on the show, the rules were you had to delete your Facebook. I think at the time it was MySpace. And anything that was kind of back then. I'm not trying to make myself look too old because I'm still young, but it wasn't around. It wasn't a thing. People had to communicate properly and like call each other and text, and everything was done differently. So for me, the pressure that I feel sometimes people have now when it comes to social media and their bodies, and even just more than just your body, just things in general, I do think sometimes it can come from social media, and that's why I always encourage people on social media to be kind, to post things that actually in 10 years time you'll look back and go, I'm proud of that post, or I meant, that quote, and I meant what I felt then at that time, and to be proud of what you're posting, because it will never leave you. It will always be there. So that special moment that I still cry about, getting the opportunity to sing with Beyonce, for me was probably one of the highlights of my career. I still cry to this day watching it back. But how it came about was I found out the night before. I didn't even have 24 hours to prepare myself. The whole week, JLS and Owen Quigg knew who they were singing with, and I was the only one that was like twiddling my thumbs, not sure what's going on. And Simon had this whole amazing plan. I'll never forget the day that he actually called me, and it was midnight, and he was like, right, kid, I've got you Beyonce. I was like, sorry, what? And obviously the papers knew, because the next day when I was driving to the TV studios, I was plastered on some of the front pages saying about the duet. And I was like, how did you find out? And I was none the wiser back then, quite naive back then, actually. And, it just was unbelievable. She turned up around 5 o'clock. We go live around 7. And I'll never forget, she said, do you want to sing If I Were a Boy? That's my new single. I was like, babe, I don't know that tune. I've been in the show and I've got no idea what the lyrics are. I don't want to embarrass myself. And I was like, why don't we sing Listen? I sung it 2 weeks before. And she was like, actually, yes, that's the video I watched and that's why I'm here. And I was a nervous wreck. Our whole time of doing our rehearsal, I cried. We only had 10 minutes to rehearse. And then I remember singing the song full out one time. And I turned to Beyonce and said, please, whatever happens tonight, can we just sing one line together? And then she actually said yes, because I know it's her favourite line to sing in the song. She said yes, and I said, you can sing the rest of the tune, just give me that one line. And it was just hilarious because she was so kind and generous, and she made me feel at ease. But deep down inside, I was breaking, because I was like, I've got my hero here. Like, I love this woman, and she's one of my idols. And the fact that I've got this opportunity, I don't even care if I win the show. Like, I don't even need to win. I've won in my heart because I got Beyonce. I got that duet. And it was just, I have really the most fondest memories of being on X Factor, simply because that whole journey was, I didn't think it was going to happen for me. I never ever thought for a second I'd even get past week 2. So to win that kind of show still holds a very special place in my heart. It's the reason why I'm here and doing what I love to do every single day. And I just remember just being really, really nervous, but she held my hand through it all. She gave me the confidence to get through it, and then I just broke down. And I don't know how I got through the rest of the evening, to be honest. I feel so lucky to be able to sit here and talk about this very special moment for me, because I think it's my greatest achievement. It is my greatest achievement, becoming a mum. I never will forget, my mum used to say to me when I was younger, what do you want to be when you're older? And I used to say to her, well, I just want to be like you, a singer and a mum. And I wanted a baby from a very young age. I was obsessed with children and nurturing them and just being a mum, seeing my mum be a mum to us four and how hard she worked. I was like, I just want to be just like you. So experiencing pregnancy, my first pregnancy, was so amazing. I mean, I don't know how I done it, but I was touring when I was pregnant. I was doing 8 shows a week. I didn't stop touring until I gave birth. I stopped touring maybe a month before giving birth. I worked basically the whole way through my pregnancy and was in the gym 5 days a week, training with a wonderful trainer. And I was loving life and enjoying it. I felt strong. I felt superhuman, and it was just amazing. The day that I gave birth, I felt like all my strength went. And that was the most weirdest feeling ever, because I was like, okay, how do I now navigate feeling this kind of weird sensation that I don't have a baby inside of me? And I had to get around that quite quickly, because I was like, right, now I've got to look after a baby, and I've never done this before, and it's all a new experience. And thankfully my first baby was just good as gold, always sleeping and eating well, and very, very, very lucky. And then when my firstborn was only 7 months, 7 or 8, I got pregnant again. and there's 14 months in between my 2 gorgeous little humans. And the second pregnancy was completely different. I didn't feel as strong. I couldn't really work that much. It was completely the opposite. But nevertheless, I still tried my best to enjoy the pregnancy. But everything, even to the smell of coffee was making me sick. I mean, I know I had that on the first one, but everything was so intense that I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on with my body? And when I go back to the first pregnancy, I really had to accept these changes, because it's the first time my body was growing a human. So to go through that in the beginning, I was like, wow, my body's really changing, and I smell something, I feel sick, or I can't really eat, or I can't do this, can't do that. And it was a real big adjustment for me, because I'm like a little bit of a control freak when it comes down to making sure I'm in the gym and doing stuff and all of that great stuff that makes me feel amazing. But when I didn't feel that in my second pregnancy, I felt like I'd lost control. So I had to do a lot of meditation around it, a lot of self-care, self-love. I even had a life coach that I was speaking to, a therapist I was speaking to, just to help me navigate my feelings and how I felt mentally within all of the changes that occurred. And that was the best gift I gave myself, was doing therapy to make sure that I was in the right place to deliver the second baby. And my 2 gorgeous babies are just wonderful. They sleep well, they eat well. I feel very, very lucky that I'm able to work and bring them to work and do stuff like that and incorporate them in everything that I do, because I'm so proud of this moment in my life. And I always say to myself, wow, I actually can't remember my life without these 2 gorgeous humans. Life begun when I had babies, because I want to experience life again and achieve more with them in my life. But I've learned to really love my body, because what my body went through with both pregnancies, creating 2 humans, the second pregnancy was quite tough. My body gave so much back to me, and I'm so grateful. And it could have been so different. So yeah, when I sit back and reflect on my 2 pregnancies, I'm really proud of my body, and I'm in no way, shape or form ready to try and snap back into those jeans that I was wearing before. I'll just buy a different size, and that's absolutely fine, because my body went through so much, delivered 2 babies, and has given me so much. I was breastfeeding, and that was the most enjoyable experience for me as well. So everything down to, around pregnancies, for me, the 2 pregnancies, I have to say the positives outweigh the little negatives that I went through. And that's why I keep repeating myself and saying that I'm lucky and grateful, because I know not every woman can sit there and say that. So yeah, I just give thanks to God and the universe for allowing me to have this moment. And I'm praying for some more once I've done marathon, and once I've done a few more jobs as well that I want to achieve, and yes, include them, and then have some more babies if God allows. So I have a few non-negotiables in life in general that I really try my best to stick to. And I'm only human, so I don't get to do them all the time, but I try my best. And one of them for me is I have to do therapy. For me, it's the greatest gift. Nothing has to be wrong to do therapy to take care of your mental health. It's just an outlet. It's someone to talk to. And it's somewhere that you can feel safe and hopefully get good advice. And I really believe that's a special gift. If you can do that, it's something that's very special for you and your heart. Another non-negotiable for me is the gym. Now, the gym is my happy place. That is the place where I'm in every single day. I take one day off a week, and even if it's a mixture of doing some Pilates, or it's just a cardio for the day, or upper or body or full body, whatever, upper, lower, or full body experience in the gym, I'm doing something. I'm staying active. I'm releasing them great endorphins, because for me, nothing brings me joy when I'm starting my day and I'm like, right, I've got my kids, they've had their breakfast, they're great, wonderful, now it's me time, and I spend an hour and 15 in the gym doing whatever that looks like on that day. And I tell you something, I'm a better mother for it, better human for it, better friend for it, because I've allowed myself to have that self-care, so to speak. I always love having a bath. Not that I get the time at the moment with a toddler running around, because that is really difficult, but I love having baths. I think baths are essential. Get them bubbles going, get the candles going, sit down, open up a magazine, Women's Health, and just relax. And that's my other go-to. And of course, for me, spending time with my partner and my kids are non-negotiable. It's one day a week that we get to make sure we have quality family time. So whether that's going down to our local cafe and we have breakfast together, we put our phones away, we don't take calls for the hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever that looks like, and we talk and we just make sure that we're having time. And I just think it's super important to incorporate family time, if you can, into your schedule, because life is busy. And there's so much that my partner and I love that we want to achieve with our very different careers. But at the same time, if you get lost in that, you lose that time together because you forget. So I make it a point of, like, I've got this like a little reminder on my phone. Every day it goes off at 6:30 and it says, no screen time, phone down. Now, I don't listen to it all the time, but it's there. The reminder is there to remind me to put my phone down. And, I take social media breaks, for example, as well, and just make sure that I just give myself back that love. And even if it's sitting there saying to myself, right, I fancy a glass of wine and some chocolate, that's self-care. Just one glass of wine will do. And you keep it moving. So, yeah. Another thing for me, like the other day, for example, I had an evening off from my show. We'd done the matinee and we got one evening off, which is very, very rare. And I watched the sunset, and that's something I love doing. And I got a chance and an opportunity to see that sun go down. And I tell you something, that was self-care, because to be able to see nature just do its thing was absolutely beautiful. It's the little things in life you have to remember that you need for yourself in order for you to keep going every single day. So I'll never forget my first experience of the symptoms of IBS, and actually not knowing it was IBS, and how crippling it was for me to walk onto the stage or to have to hold up a show because I'm in pain, and to not have to, basically not eat at certain times of the day because I didn't want to feel bloated or feel the pain that comes with eating certain foods, and not knowing what was going on with my body and feeling, again, out of control. So I put up with it for about 10 years. And I got to the point where I was like, well, I actually can't do this anymore. I can't put this smile on my face and be fake to people when I'm in pain. And I need to resolve this issue. So I never forget, I went to my doctors, and my gorgeous GP was like, you need to try this amazing supplement. It is called Symprove. And let me tell you something, it's changed my life, as well as looking after myself and making sure I'm eating the right foods, avoiding certain foods such as dairy, such as, wheat and stuff like that can trigger, they're triggering foods for me. And don't get me wrong, I'm only human, I'm not a robot, so sometimes I will have the odd cheese and chocolate because I love it so much. But it's controlled much better because I take Symprove. And for me, it's been my life-changing friend, to be quite honest. And when I look back at the times when I was so scared to take myself on stage because I wasn't sure how I was going to feel, or having the fear of having to potentially stop a show halfway through because I'm in excruciating pain or feel the way I felt, I I'm so grateful that I no longer go through that. Like, it's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders that I can go on stage and just perform at my best and smile and not feel like somebody's watching me in the audience and thinking, God, what's wrong with her? She looks like she's in a bit of pain when I'm not, singing or in a scene where I'm silent. And it was just an odd time where, feeling when you're, to feel in yourself when you're out of control of your own body, but you feel like you can't fix something, is probably one of the worst things I think a human could go through. And especially as a performer, you want to give your all. You want to make sure that when people are buying tickets to see you perform, you are at your 100% best to give what you can give them, because they've worked hard to buy that ticket to come and see you. So I really do feel like, taking care of your gut health is super, super important. And also to talk about it in the public eye, because not many people talk about IBS, or not many people talk about, too scared, too shy. I was too shy to talk about it. So for me, talking about gut health, IBS, taking care of yourself from the inside out is super, super important. And I'm living proof that you can get to the end of the tunnel, because I feel like I've definitely cured mine. So the way for me and how confidence works, for me personally, it's through prayer. I always say a prayer before I walk on that stage. I ask God to protect every single performer, band member, anyone that's backstage, that's running the show, running that ship, because we can't do it by ourselves. And I pray for them as well. No matter what their beliefs are, I just put out positive energy to everyone. And I always make sure I greet every single person before we walk on that stage and say, have a great show. Let's do this. Have a great show. So I try to ooze positivity. But when I'm having a bad day, if I'm honest with you, how I then get my confidence is I spray my mum's perfume. Chanel No. 5 gets me through anything. And I can feel her now talking about her. But my mum's perfume will always be my strength and my go-to, because if I can smell her, I know she's there. And I know that she's carrying me through. And she's probably giving me some notes as well from up there, telling me, right, you could have done that better. And that's how my mum used to be with me. And I always say to myself, you're only as good as your last performance. So if this is going to be my last one, for whatever reason, if I injure myself, if something happens, touch wood, God forbid, my mum always used to say, you're only as good as your last performance, so make it a good one. And so that's what gives me the confidence. I have my off days. I'm only human, and I know that, like, I'm sometimes majority of the time now in my life, I'm extremely sleep deprived, and I've got no idea how I'm getting through 8 shows a week. But at the same time, I remind myself I'm grateful for this, because I'm doing a show that's joyous at the moment. A show that brings people an escape, and work for me is my escape. Those 2.5 hours on stage, I get to live my best life. So for me, it's about remembering the little things and being grateful for it, in order for you to go out there and give your all. And I always say to myself as well, these people have worked so hard to buy a ticket. They're not cheap. We're going through a crisis at the minute, and for people to come out of their way to come and see us perform, that's taking a lot from them as well. So actually give them a show. Give them what they've paid for and nothing less. And, hopefully if I can put a smile on someone's face in that audience, then I've done my job. And yeah, that's how I see confidence with me performing. I have to really pinch myself when I talk about this, because I will never forget when I was 15, I just finished a dancing competition, and the group that I was in came second. And my mum said to me, oh, Alex, amazing. Well done. Well done. Well, that's it now for you when it comes to acting and dancing. We're just going to concentrate on the singing. And I turned to her and said, sorry, what? And she was like, yeah, it's done for you now. Say goodbye to your friends, because we're just going to concentrate on this, because you can't be good at everything. But don't worry, the dancing will follow and the acting will follow, but it's going to take some time. And here I am, many, many years later, talking about a film that I've done, Pretty Red Dress, which I'm so proud of, my first ever film, and now doing a TV drama for Paramount Plus, and it's called Curfew. Literally pinching myself. I don't know how the universe has made this happen, but I'm just again grateful, because I had the most amazing experience doing the film and doing the TV drama. And if I could turn back time and do both again, I absolutely would. But I just it's been a dream of mine from childhood to want to be an actress and to be taken seriously as an actress. And yes, I've done theatre, but it's very different to TV and film. And I learned that very, very quickly. The hours, of course, are different, and just everything is so fast paced when it comes to TV and film. And it's just I've had the privilege of working with two awesome directors, both females as well, and just powerful, powerful women that empowered me and actually gave me so much confidence, because I'm not a trained actress at all. I go with my gut. And I'll never forget when I got my first job in theatre, and it was Bodyguard in 2014. And I said to the director, Thea, should I go and get some acting lessons? And to Frank Thompson, God bless his soul as well, the associate director. And I said, should I get some acting lessons? And they said, no, you're going to become a robot. Absolutely not. You go with your gut and we will guide you. And gosh, I've been guided so beautifully by wonderful people that I've been able to work with, that have given me the strength and confidence to believe in myself. And I know that I've got a long way to go in terms of, doing more, but I'm not going to stop. And for me, having this new TV drama come out, I just don't even know how I got it, but I got the role, and it's such an awesome role as well, playing Helen the teacher in this wonderful TV drama. And I really hope to do so much more. And, in the next 10 years, if I think about the next 10 years, I, of course, want more kids. I want to get married. I want to do more albums, another tour of my own. And of course, hopefully be a part of many more movies and more TV dramas, just because it's my love. And if I can go into that space now, which, gosh, I'm actually in that space now, which is so weird to say, but I want to do more of it. And I tell you something, if my mum was here now, I think she'd be super proud, because what she had said to me many years ago has actually come to life. And everything I've prayed for at the minute is there. It's in my hands. So praying for more opportunities, God willing. I'm Alexandra Burke, and I just want to say thank you for watching My Body, My Story with Women's Health.